The infamous 1%. Who are they? Are they a secret organization that runs the world? A group of the richest, most influential people and families whose identity is hidden by the shadows, orchestrating wars, controlling global markets, directing the future of technology, puppeteering the politician who the masses think make the decisions, dictating everything we see and hear on the news, on social media, the Illuminati, if you will. They control the world and whatever they say goes. A group like this probably exists, but that's not what I mean when I say the 1%. I'm just referring to the richest people in the world according to net worth. Net worth is a measure of someone's wealth. Not the only measure, but by far the most popular one. All we have to do to calculate net worth is add up the value of everything we own, then subtract the value of everything we owe. And that right there is our magic number. If this magic number is $1 million for you, then congratulations, you're a millionaire, at least according to net worth. And if we calculate this for everyone, and that is how we get a list of the richest people in the world, which includes people you may have heard of like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett. But what makes them so special? What do they have that we don't? Is it luck? Is it years of hard work? Were they born rich? Maybe divine intervention? Well, fortunately for many of us, it isn't completely all of those things, and in this video, I will reveal their secrets. Imagine you get your weekly paycheck and it comes out to $1,000. What do you do with this $1,000? You probably have to pay your rent, car payments, groceries, taxes, etc. There will be some expenses you can't avoid, but after that, what do you do with the leftover money? How do you spend your fun money? For many people, they like to buy new clothes, dine out at fancy restaurants, go on vacation. That's fine if that's what they want to do. However, the wealthy like to spend their fun money to buy things we call assets. An asset is anything that puts more money into your wallet. A liability, on the other hand, is anything that takes money out of your wallet and doesn't return anything back. Most people buy liabilities as mentioned before, but these liabilities come at the price of your financial future. What are some examples of assets? Remember, an asset is anything that helps you make more money. Some of the most popular examples of assets include stocks, bonds, crypto, and real estate. But remember, anything can technically be an asset if it helps put more money into your wallet. So based off that logic, even a clothing collection, paintings, and baseball cards are also assets, as some people do use these to make money. What the wealthy do every time they get paid is that they pay themselves first. They make sure to buy as many assets as they can before buying the things they probably actually want. On the other hand, the average person will spend their money on whatever they feel like, and likely don't even know that they could buy things that pay them more money. This concept of using your money to buy things that make you more money is called investing, and all billionaires/millionaires do it. On the other hand, liabilities are things that make you poorer. One of the biggest liabilities most people have is their car. The average car payment for a new car is $735 a month, or about $8,820 a year. If you instead invested that into the S&P 500 at the usual 10% growth rate, after 30 years, you would have over $1.4 million. Instead, those payments are going towards a car that loses 18% of its value as soon as you drive out the front lot. Other forms of liabilities people tend to have include debt. All debt is inherently a liability, even if some people use debt as a tool to acquire more wealth. The most popular forms of debt, which include student loans, mortgage, auto loans, and credit card debt, are the biggest forms of liabilities the average person will have. For many people, debt will just add unnecessary payments that they have to make that eats into their paychecks. You want to get out of debt as soon as possible so you can redirect those debt repayments towards buying more assets. The wealthy minimize all the liabilities they have and maximize all the assets they have. As a matter of fact, when we calculated net worth earlier, this is essentially what we did. We got the value of everything we own, which are our assets, and then we subtract the value of everything we owe, which are our liabilities. Assets minus liabilities is how we calculate net worth, and it's also how we got this Forbes list. But one thing you will notice about all these people is their source of wealth. They all own or run a business, and that leads us to their biggest secret. They all build businesses that pay them. A business is probably the biggest asset someone can make or own. Most people work a regular job. The problem with a regular job is you're limited by your time. When you are working a typical W-2, you trade your time for money. There's only 24 hours in a day and only 365 days in a year. So trading time for money means your time will be limited, and therefore the amount of money you can make will also be limited. With a business, you can get rid of this time problem. Businesses make money by providing value, and there is no limit to how much value you can produce, so there is no limit on how much money you can earn. If we take a look at the Forbes list, next to their names, we have the business that's the source of their net worth. For example, we see Elon Musk owns Tesla and SpaceX, so on and so forth. In addition to businesses being advantageous from a time perspective, there is another reason businesses help people get wealthy that is controversial for some. The way the American tax code works just happens to benefit business owners more than the employees. When an employee gets paid, they pay taxes first. Then they spend the rest of their money on whatever they want. With businesses, it's the other way around. First they spend their money on the business, then they pay taxes on whatever is left. This kind of makes sense because it's understood that there is a cost of doing business. So imagine if you invested $1,000 into a business to get back $1,010. If you paid taxes on the full $1,010, then you would be left with less money than you started with, and the business endeavor would have been for nothing. So to encourage people to start a business, we only tax profits and not revenue. But that alone is not the only tax advantage businesses get. Businesses can also delay taxes. Imagine a business that isn't profitable for years because they reinvested all of their profits to make the business grow. Eventually, they will hit a point where they are profitable and make loads of money, but because they were running at a loss for years, they can use those losses to offset some of the taxes when they are profitable. This is how Amazon effectively paid a 6% tax rate on a $35 billion worth of profit. Because Amazon has operated for decades at a loss, they paid less taxes when they were profitable. These are just basic ways businesses avoid paying taxes, but there are actually way more complicated methods that businesses use to avoid taxes all the time. Many people question the ethics of these so-called tax loopholes, as in the tax code shouldn't work like that, where it allows some people who make the most amount of money pay the least amount in taxes. But the ethics of this is beyond the scope of this video. All you have to know is that the tax system does in fact work like that, and you have an opportunity to take advantage of it. The final secret only the 1% know is the difference between money and wealth. You can measure the amount of money you have by checking your bank account, but real wealth is harder to measure. Time is the most valuable asset anyone has. You want to have more of it, you want to save it, you want to spend it on things you're actually enjoying. Wasting someone's time is like stealing from them, hence the phrase, time is money. A Rolex means nothing if it's used to tell what time your lunch break ends. Imagine you have $1 million. If your annual expense is $100,000 a year, then you have 10 years before you run out. That's 10 years of freedom. But if your expenses were only $50,000 a year, then that's 20 years of freedom. This is a different way to view wealth, since now you're not looking directly at the money you have, but the amount of freedom and time you have. You want to maximize how much you have in this context, which means investing more money and keeping your expenses as low as possible. It's exactly like operating a business. You want to maximize profits, and the two parts of profits are revenue and expenses. So you want to maximize your revenue or assets while minimizing your expenses or liabilities. It is absolutely recommended that everyone in America becomes an owner of a business. Not everyone needs to drop out of school to start a business, but you can buy stock in companies and become a partial owner of some of the biggest corporations in America. Even if you're not in America, you should be interested in this. However, the laws in your country may differ, so if you're not sure where to start, then make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated when those videos drop.